we need to take just a minute or two?
Either way, if you want to keep this going, we can.
Okay, we'll go ahead and keep going, except I need to log back into my computer, which takes me 3 times. Hang on just a second. So I will, there we go. Look at that, first try. So I will go ahead and convene the meeting of the Coos Bay Urban Renewal Agency, and our first item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public comments?
No one.
All right, we have no one signed up, and it doesn't look like anybody has any comments, so we'll continue to the consent calendar.
I'll
Do I
make
have
a
a
motion
motion?
to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And then our next item is the consideration to approve an improvement grant request for 190 Central Avenue, which is the building which houses So It Goes Coffee House.
Yeah, so I will get us started, and the folks that are making this request are here tonight, so they can definitely fill in my gaps that I leave. So they have submitted a improvement grant request. That kind of goes through a process here in-house where folks look at it. It goes out to the design assistance team. They give some feedback, and then that's kind of like in a pre-app. And then if all of that looks great, then they do this formal application, which is what brings them here tonight. So they're asking to do some modifications to the site there, which would open up some additional space adjacent to their current seating area there. They'll open up through an archway and add some air conditioning, some electrical upgrades, and they've done some architectural and engineering work and some hot materials testing, which I think is, substances that we need to be aware of in the facility, and some structural determinations to make sure that, modifying the walls doesn't impact the building itself. So they are estimating the cost of the project a little over $32,000, and I think that gives a round picture. If you guys wanted to step up, if you guys had any questions.
John or Daniil?
I'll come up there, but I'm gonna let him talk.
Okay.
Thanks very much. I'm John. This is Daniil, and we own So It Goes Coffee House. Thanks so much for having us up here today, and thanks for all the information and help on the process. Anything that you need to know from me, I'm happy to talk about. As far as what we were looking at, and it's the first time for us doing this kind of a thing, so thanks again for all of the information and time that you guys have put in on this. We've got a range on with a couple of the quotes on the main thrust of the change to the building would be cutting an archway through our main wall into the adjoining unit, which used to be the yoga studio next door at 180 Central. And that requires just a little bit of special stuff for the way that the building is working. And so we had to, ahead of time, have some people come in and look, architectural engineer, make their recommendation. We had to do a little bit of demo upstairs to make sure what was inside the walls that we would be taking out, whether parts of it are load bearing or not. And they did a great job coming up with the plans for that. And so those, the architectural and engineer and then the construction group that did that work have already been paid. I think that's a little over $2,000 already. And this 32,000 plus permits number that we have is the maximum amount. But there's variations in the two main things. So one is the main thrust of the archway. We've got quotes in at let me see here. And I think you guys have copies of this, but we're at roughly right around 8 and right around 12. Mm-hmm. And then there's also the quotes for the air conditioning. And there's one for just one side and then one for if we wanted to do both sides at once. And I'll tell you, the main thing for me is the kitchen. Those girls are just, so anything else is gravy. So, but But oh my gosh, we need a back door in that thing or so next time. But yeah, so those are the two main things. A little bit of electrical work that the electrical guys wanted to do to get some of the outlets updated and that kind of thing. And so this is the first step in what we'll be doing, with the place in there. So some more things to behold later, I'm sure. But that's the initial idea. Yeah.
Well, definitely is a bright spot on that block in downtown Coos Bay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that you're looking to do this. Again, I always have an issue with with this 50-50 grant thing, and we need to change this as far as I'm concerned. I think if this agency decides to move forward on it, we should look at doing the full amount. And we've done this in the past, and so I don't see why we would make an exception and not allow that to be the case here. The only thing I want to make sure now is, so is this building in good standing? I mean, don't we usually make sure that there's everything's up to snuff with the building, so there's not going to be a problem that we have to deal with down the road?
Yeah, so it's not under any current issues with the city of Coos Bay, but one of the things that we do look at is, are they current with taxes? And they are the property owner, which is not the business owner, it's owned by a separate individual, is a couple of years behind in property taxes. So there is, or maybe 6,000 or so balance on that.
Yeah, I think it was like 4,000 in fees or something.
Yeah, with some interest on there. So traditionally, we would say that needs to be resolved before we would move forward with this. And again, that is an agency decision to move past a past practice. We know we've had some challenges with that property owner, and we know this is a well-used business on a regular basis. So, finding that balance, I guess, is the challenge that you guys are kind of faced with tonight.
So I just want to make sure, in the past, if this has been an issue, what have we done? I mean, what's the criteria that we've stuck to in the past?
We would notify them that that needs to be rectified. They need to go clear those taxes. So
I believe it's almost, I think I looked and it was somewhere around 6,800 in back taxes.
So have you contacted the owner by any chance about the property taxes, John?
The property tax was the last thing that we found out, and it was right as we were turning in
Of course.
the information. So I have not yet.
Country for the month, so that's.
Yeah, he's back in the country, I think, soon, and we haven't begun that discussion with him yet. I kind of wanted to get a sense of what the requirements were for you guys and go on from there.
Yeah, I'm not
The
sure.
amount itself is not.
My feeling is, I'm not sure how the rest of the agency members feel. I think we should go ahead and support this with the caveat that if the taxes are brought up to current, then that meets the criteria.
Right.
Then we go ahead and allocate the fund or the
Right.
grant. That would be my recommendation.
So this is the American, what's known as the American Building.
Right.
And I did go back and forth on it because we have had hard time communicating with the property owner.
Completely understand.
But I'm not investing in the building per se as much as I'm saying we're investing in the business and what that does for the community.
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody else has.
It couldn't be more well said. We know, we all have strong opinions about the American Building and the owner of the American Building and the lack of communication. But we're not supporting that. We're supporting the business owners, so it goes. And so I agree with Mayor Benetti that as long as the owner pays for the back taxes, I think we should support this project.
I fully agree, and I support the mayor's recommendation to make an accommodation to support this project at 100%.
Good. Do other agency members have any comments?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I do support fully funding this request, but I do have hesitation with just the fact that we are investing in a building that is maybe not the most well kept and is behind on taxes, as we all are. So Um, I don't know how to do it in a way that makes it so those taxes are brought up to current. Because I feel like is that actually part of our uh, process and requirements that the buildings are at a certain level or up to like fully paid in taxes, or does this have to happen before we invest in this project?
I believe they're two different things.
Okay.
The taxes are part of the process. It has to be current.
It
So
has
could-
to be current.
So can we make a motion that go ahead and fund this up to $32,000, 100% covered by this grant? Once the taxes are brought currently, then they can be awarded the grant? Can we do that? Or do we have to get them, I mean, because I'm just trying to, there's time frame in this, so I understand where they're at. If they can get a hold of the owner, they pay the taxes, they show that they're paid, then they can go ahead with the improvement.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. My concern would be that this property owner decides to not do that, right? They've got another essentially year and a half before they'll be to the delinquent point, before the county will start to take action. And I wouldn't be surprised if it takes the time there. I think I also understand while they're intending to move into that space, they're paying for it already. So I would just be, this is a tough spot to be in, right? To help fund something that we have been frustrated with, but the longer we make
I completely
it,
understand the exact position. I completely
yeah,
get it.
It makes it hard to appreciate where they're at,
Sure.
renting that additional space without really getting benefit of that.
What
so.
I hear what you're saying. What I don't want to do is set a precedent, because we've been down that road before with other properties where we get ourselves in trouble. So I guess the motion that I would want to propose is I'm totally fine funding to 100% as long as the owner of the building pays the back taxes before the project starts, before
Bring
the
some
funds
to-
are distributed.
Here's something completely off the wall. We do have some other vacant properties available in downtown, and I believe that urban renewal can be used to help move and move in. And there are properties that are very closely located to where you are. Have you ever considered something like that?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so we recently investigated a couple of properties. Would you like me to tell you about them?
We just want to make sure that you're staying local in downtown.
It's sort of a Three Little Pigs thing, or not Three Little Pigs, Three Little Bears. One's too big, one's just, you know what I
What
mean?
is just right.
Yeah. So the lovely Palace building it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's just a sort of an immense undertaking. We also are very lucky in the space that we're in. We've managed to kind of just capture a momentum there, and it has definitely had its challenges with the building. But we're inclined to, if we can, maintain that and expand. We're definitely at the busting point as far as capacity. And there's some other opportunities down the street, closer to the 101, where businesses have moved out, and we're in the loop to find out, once they know what they're doing with that, a little more about that. But just after really going through the lay of the land, in terms of our end of things, this seemed to be the way that we would love to go. But it's certainly not the only thing that can happen, and it's definitely got the circumstances that you guys have been discussing to deal with, and we're right there with you on those.
So let me see if I can make an motion that'll work for everyone. Okay.
Councillor Matthews has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Matthews.
Yeah, I guess just before we go to motions, I'm sensing that we are all kind of feeling a hesitation to invest in this building, not necessarily investing in your business. So I think Councilor Kilmer said this, or President Kilmer said this absolutely correctly. You know, like that's where we want to help you. But when you were going to turn in this application and then found out how delinquent the taxes are on this building, does that not call to question your investment in this building?
It
And
100, it
I just
100% does.
so I'm
It-
just I
yeah,
really appreciate the like going out and Councilor Kilmer asking the question. I just the hesitation that I have is pretty substantial, just because I do not appreciate the way the building ownership participates in this community, and that is a struggle that I have with wanting to invest tax-paying dollars into it. I do want to do this, especially if it's for things like architectural facades and air conditioning. All of those things sound great, but I just would hate for this to be a short-term thing where it becomes an issue that the county then has to take action on the property owner later down the line, or if you are just struggling because this relationship is stressed already. So um, I want to support you guys. I'm struggling to really be behind doing that particular thing. So hopefully Mayor Benetti has a good option.
So,
No pressure.
I don't know if I have a good option. So the question is, I guess, John, do you want to still move forward on this then, if that's the case, under the scenario that's been discussed?
If it's feasible for you, and I'll put it this way: I would completely understand if it is not. I'm that's no problem. I understand. I think the benefit is
You're going to move forward with this plan regardless, is what I'm
No.
hearing? No.
no. I don't believe we would.
Well, I'd like to, I think, so it goes is, as we've all talked about, I think it's a wonderful business. I'm going to call it an anchor in our downtown area that everyone likes. I definitely understand you busting at the seams. I'm there many times, and I see that, and it's wonderful to have.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to give him that option, and this is me, I'm not sure everyone else feels. So I think I'll make a motion to approve the improvement grant to 100%, not to exceed $32,256, with the condition that the property taxes be brought up to current statement, or been currently, so that they have to be paid in full before we allocate any funds towards this project. That would be my motion.
Second.
And there you can have the discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
So I'll now open it up for discussion. And I'll just, because I'm devil's advocate and I do this, you want full funding on something that we're uncertain on, when we could go back and actually have an application possibly come forward for the other 50%. So fund 50% and then do the other 50% through another application.
Well, I don't know.
Because we're in we could be in 2 fiscal years.
I know, but it's the end of June, we have to start a new fiscal year, July 1. But the thing is we've in the past have funded 100%.
No, I understand,
so-
but we're saying we're hesitant, and we're going full 100% with not understanding if they can't even communicate with them.
Well, then the grant's not granted, because this has the property taxes have to be brought current. If they're not brought current, then the funds can't be expedited or given.
I just wonder, it gives no leverage
To who?
say to the property owner to say, hey, you have to take care of this.
Yeah, it does. Well, they're not going to have this happen unless the property.
Okay.
That's my
Just-
take. But anyway, I don't know how anyone else feels.
Well, I guess, Stephanie, to comment on your point, what we've heard is the property owner is out of the country. We've heard that the property owner is going to come back into the country soon.
Yes.
We think. We've heard that I mean, the new budget year is, I mean, by the time I think all of this happens, it would be in the next budget, I'm assuming, Nicole?
Yes, but if you make a decision today, we will,
Start
it-
this fiscal year.
yeah, it would be in this fiscal
It would,
year, and then
okay.
whatever carryover we have that's tied to this not spent would become part of next year's, will come to you, like we usually do with carryover differences with a supplemental budget, to make sure we're bringing those funds in the next year.
These funds are available, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
100%.
But just to be clear, they can't be spent until the taxes are paid.
Correct. So just today, we have 100% funding ability for this today,
Yeah.
in this fiscal year. Let's say nothing happens and we aren't asked to reimburse costs until August 2nd.
Right,
We're going to bring these
got it.
32,000 whatever dollars into next year as part of carryover.
got it.
You approved it in this year, it becomes kind of a payable.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
All right.
My understanding of the motion is that, if I'm understanding you correctly, Mayor Benetti, was that it's contingent on the back taxes being paid. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
and I just want to make sure, and it's maybe none of my business, that we're going to have the owner pay the back taxes, not you two.
Had that conversation, yes.
Yeah, we've,
I am not interested in
yeah, I
fixing this.
Okay.
yeah, it
good.
just wouldn't,
That
yeah.
makes me feel better. So you wouldn't
Yeah.
pay those, we're requiring the owner to do it.
Yes, my first instinct is always to move, but I just, yeah, she's pretty adamant.
Okay, thank you. That helps,
Okay.
that helps with my
Is there any
decision.
further discussion on the motion? All right, then I will go ahead and ask, how does the agent, oh, we already have a motion. So all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed?
I don't think we have a second. Joe, did we get a
Yeah.
second?
The second?
Yeah.
I made the motion and
Yes,
seconded
and
it.
Sarah, no, Sarah.
Sarah seconded it.
I was going to say, we wouldn't have had discussion if,
Yeah, it's all good. We're on the right track.
okay, so that was clear as mud, and I'm sorry.
What happened?
What happened
No,
is
the
the
grant was
motion
approved.
carried, and,
Well, right, you heard so.
and the
Anyway.
grant was approved at 100% contingent on the taxes, the back taxes being paid up
Great.
to current.
Thanks very much, you
You're
guys.
good.
I really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm
And
very
again-
sorry
Oh, I
for
just hope things work out.
putting you guys
And
through this.
again, I
Hopefully
want to
everything turns
say,
out.
again, from least me, and I am assuming from the rest of the agency, that this is an investment in your business. You've been a great merchant in downtown,
Thank you.
and appreciate all the things that you're doing and the support that you give to this community through your business.
Well, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for all the kind words.
And I just was gonna also add to their, to acknowledge, when we found out about the property taxes, they did consider pulling back because they knew the rules. And we, administration, said, no, this is a great topic to bring forth, not because we thought there would be a different outcome, but it continues to create a story as to why this is a problematic space for us. And we are going to maybe approach it from a different angle because of that. So thanks for giving us that.
Oh,
piece of the
thank you
puzzle.
guys for, and you never know, we may run out of road on this particular thing, and maybe you'll see us again on another time.
Well, know that there's other options as well, and again, appreciate all that you do, and it is important that people know that we're being good stewards of the money that we use here,
100%, yeah, thank you. It's very responsible. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Well,
All right, thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you all.
And with that, we are adjourned.